It's the morning of April 6th, 2026. A commuter steps up to a metro transit turnstile in Russia. They tap their smartphone against the glass reader. They expect the gate to open. Nothing happens. The gate stays locked. They assume it's a localized card reader glitch, or maybe a brief scheduled maintenance window for this one specific stop. But the line behind them isn't moving. Commuters are frantically tapping their devices against unresponsive screens. Error codes are blinking on the turnstile displays. And it's not just one station. Across multiple Russian regions, people are hitting a physical wall. They pull out their phones to check their accounts. The application load screens are completely frozen. Citizens realize they haven't just been locked out of the subway, they are entirely unable to access their daily banking apps. They have suddenly, simultaneously, lost the ability to pay. The digital payment ecosystem built to guarantee seamless, modern transit has evaporated in the middle of rush hour. Reports confirm a massive systemic outage. Official alerts drop. Major outage hits Russian banking apps, metro payments across regions. This isn't just a transit failure. It's the moment a cashless society abruptly disconnects, trapping its own citizens without a workaround. Digital banking ecosystems and transit networks promise a frictionless, modern urban environment. The reality is that critical physical and digital infrastructure is highly fragile. The globe is quietly experiencing a pattern of compounding vulnerabilities. Take South Dakota in October 2025. The entire state IT network abruptly goes dark. The culprit isn't a sophisticated espionage operation. It's a simple, absurd, physical mistake inside the South Dakota state IT server rooms. Officials announce the cause. Mislabeled wires responsible for two-day IT outage. 2 months later, a different utility grid breaks. The Waterbury municipal water system infrastructure fails completely. For almost a week, the city is dry. Workers are forced to dig out water system repair sites. The local press reports on the emergency repairs to water system after 6-day outage. By January, the friction reaches San Francisco public utility boardrooms. San Francisco's supervisors blast PG&E. They call for inquiry into public utility system. In Tennessee, the Nashville Power Grid Network's post-Winter Storm Fern prompt a similar reckoning. The Nashville Electric Service is forced to catalog its own grid collapse. A historic Winter Storm Fern outage takes the grid offline. They publish documents to detail failures, fixes, whether it's extreme weather, aging pipes, or literally mislabeled wires. The underlying networks keep buckling. We rely on invisible systems to run our daily routines. But these highly integrated networks create massive single points of failure. And when they break, they don't just glitch. They strand millions of people without warning. Back inside the Russian metro transit stations, the morning commute simply stops. The error codes blinking on the turnstiles are just the surface of the collapse. Commuters stepping out of line to find a workaround quickly realize there isn't one. The banking applications themselves are completely offline. People haven't just been locked out of the subway, they are locked out of their own money. The highly integrated digital banking ecosystems were built to eliminate friction. They were meant to project the power of a perfectly modern, cashless society. Instead, that centralization creates the ultimate trap. Commuters and citizens across multiple Russian regions simultaneously lose the ability to pay for anything. They are suddenly cut off from essential daily services. You cannot buy a coffee, you cannot hail a car, and you cannot board a train. This is a massive systemic outage severing the public from their daily routines. Critical physical and digital infrastructure has simply evaporated without warning. The exact root cause of the Russian banking and metro payment outage remains hidden. But the physical result is immediate and undeniable. Millions of people are stranded in front of locked gates. They are swiping unresponsive glass. They are completely immobilized by a network that refuses to let them move. The physical consequence of the digital outage spills onto the streets. Daily local commerce comes to a complete halt. The total number of individuals affected by the Russian system failures remains unknown. But in the specific Russian regions impacted by the outages, the economy simply freezes. It triggers a rapid erosion of public trust and political fallout. This is the immediate reality of compounding vulnerabilities. It mirrors the political pressure seen in American utility boardrooms months earlier. Following widespread grid failures, supervisors issue a call for an inquiry into the public utility system. When critical physical and digital infrastructure breaks, citizens demand accountability. But a synchronized banking and transit failure is a different kind of trap. The lights are on and the trains are running, but nobody can actually buy a ticket. The exact root cause of the Russian banking and metro payment outage remains unconfirmed. There is no manual override for a centralized digital network. There is no physical workaround. Down in the stations, the crowds eventually stop tapping their phones. The frantic swiping gives way to a quiet, physical bottleneck. The transit grid remains completely frozen. Millions of commuters are simply left standing at the entrances. They stare at unresponsive glass readers. The unresolvable network error codes continue to blink across the turnstiles. Without access to their daily banking apps, there is no cash to scrounge for a ticket. There is nowhere to go and no way to pay for a ride home. The central banks will eventually issue statements. They will promise to restore the digital banking ecosystems. The exact root cause is still being investigated, but for now, the physical gates stay locked. A perfectly modern infrastructure, just waiting for a signal that isn't coming.